And good morning. How's it going? This is Bull. Welcome to a new chapter of Independent is Power. I'd like to welcome all you guys. It's been quite some time since we've run a show, but we had some news I wanted to come out and put it to everybody out to everybody and let everybody kind of give me some feedback on it. And without beating around the bush, we're going to get right down to it. We've decided to launch an exploratory committee to run for governor of the great state of Minnesota. We've had a lot of been going back and forth on this for a while, trying to figure out if we were going to do this or not, because it is a huge commitment. Uh, I thought campaigning around the 7th congressional district was a lot. Now we're talking about the whole state. So again, this is a big step for us to take. But we've been driven to do this by a couple of factors. One, of course, has been the continued mismanagement of Minnesota by Governor Walz, and the very strong possibility he will run for a third term. I don't really think we can afford that. Personally, I don't care for Governor Walz. I think he's a coward for leaving his troops when they went on deployment. He continues to circumvent the law to benefit the DFL, which is a problem. Which is also one of the things I'm looking at for how I'm going to run, because that's really the next big question we have. How do I decide? When I say how do I decide to run, it means under which party do I decide to run? And we've decided to kick off this campaign, likely going to be starting off as an independent. We've decided not to start off campaigning with the GOP, and there's numerous reasons behind that. One of the biggest is if those roles were reversed and we had a GOP governor right now, would he act any differently than Governor Walz is? And I just don't believe they would, because again, their commitment is to GOP and their power and retaining power for their party. We don't really have anybody in current politics who really represent the people anymore. It's all about representing their parties. And that was one reason. Another reason is I went back and I took a look at what the breakdown in Minnesota was as far as our political parties. And I went through a group that was put together by a nonpartisan group, and I was actually surprised by it. You know, in Minnesota, more people consider themselves Republicans than Democrats. Roughly 40% of Minnesotans consider themselves Republican. Only 36% consider themselves Democrats or members of the DFL. 22% are non-affiliated. Now, what I want you to think about, and what I thought about, is how do we start off with a 4% advantage, yet manage to lose every statewide election? How are we losing 3 out of every 4 non-affiliated or independent voters to the DFL? Is it because they lean that way, or is it, or what? What is the problem? Or is the fact that the Republican Party him so much to the extreme, so much to the religious right, that a lot of those middle or non-affiliated voters who don't necessarily see themselves as being very religious are just turned off by the message the GOP is sending. So that was something that I said, you know what, let me start running as an independent. I'm going to leave the option open to go to switch over to the GOP later. But I said, let me start as an independent, because then these people might be willing to listen to me and to my message that they would normally maybe not be willing to listen to me otherwise if I'm just one of many Republicans running in a crowded field. The other reason I had to look at is it's very legitimate. Right now, the GOP, if you're not a Trumper and you're not religious right, it's going to be a very uphill battle to get the nominate or get the endorsement from the GOP, because so many of the delegates lean in that direction. And I'm not a big Trump supporter, and I'm not the religious right. I am the socially liberal, fiscally conservative. Okay, what you do on your time is your business, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Okay. But the GOP is tending to lean more into that religious dogma that should be law. And I just don't agree with that. I believe it's a violation of our Constitution. And first and foremost, I am a constitutionalist. What is my platform going to look like? My platform is not going to change compared to where the last times I've ran. My platform is relatively consistent. It's the Constitution. Now, basically, when we go down to a state level compared to running for a federal office, there is a lot more leeway, I guess you could say, in that because the federal Constitution gives a lot of rights and authorities to the states that they do not have in the federal government. So there is a lot more involvement in the state government compared to where the federal government should be involved by the Constitution. But for the most part, I'm still a leave you alone type of candidate. I mean, you do you, I do me, and we go on with life. Uh, but as when you're running for an office like governor, when you are coming up here and you're going to represent all of the people, then your government is going to have probably a little bit more input on the state level than on the federal level. I mean, when all of the people speak and say this is what we want, I'm gonna have to look at this and go, hey, as your governor, this is what the people want. Is that in line with the Constitution? And if it falls within the Constitution, you need to be willing to listen to the people. And that's what I think is actually missing from our government right now. I think this is a complete mess that we're dealing with on the federal level, or excuse me, on the state level right now with a completely non-functional government. And I think so much of that is because our parties are so diametrically opposed. There is no real straight caller up there. There is no straight shooter, should I say, because again, they're all based off of party politics instead of representing the people. And that's what I want to do. And of course, the other, I mean, again, as I said, there was numerous reasons why I was looking at running independent. And one of the other reasons I look at is we got to be realistic. We got to be realistic on how the GOP has acted in the past and how they're liable to act in the future. There's a very real possibility that if I run under the GOP and I go there and I manage to get the endorsement of the people, of the grassroots GOP, I come out of the state conference with an endorsement. But we have a big name like a Tom Emmer or a Pete Stauber who's running, who didn't get the endorsement, but who has all this money in their bank accounts that they built up over years of being in Congress. Their campaign accounts are basically brimming over as it is. They will be able to push out so much information during the primary that dollar for dollar, we just won't be able to compete. So for the uneducated GOP voter, they're going to see all these commercials running constantly about these big names. And even though I may win the endorsement, the GOP is not going to spend money and back on me because these are the big names. Those are names that even though I got the endorsement, they believe are the better candidates. I saw this on a much smaller level when I looked at running for House. I mean, I went into our endorsement convention and I did lose the endorsement, but I also went in knowing and having heard from people that even if I won the endorsement, you would have your Laura Merkels and some of these GOP PACs who are already telling the state central committee, hey, this guy's dangerous. He's not good for the GOP. We need to jettison him. The same thing is going to happen if I run for governor. The establishment will never back me. So why should I get in there and play by their game, knowing that the deck's going to be stacked against me? Running as an independent, I hold some cards. We ran for Congress against Michelle Fischbach. We didn't win. We went outside the two-party system. We got almost 6%, which doesn't sound like a lot. But I ask you this question: on a statewide race, if I'm running as an independent and I get 5 or 6%, do I impact the results of that governor's race? If nothing else, whoever does run for the GOP wins the endorsement, they're going to have a discussion with me because they can't afford me running as an independent. It may give me the option of going, you know what, y'all want me to run under the GOP for endorsement? Fine. You're going to sign a binding contract, not a pledge. You're going to sign a binding contract that you will honor the endorsement or you will forfeit 1/2 of your personal wealth. Y'all want me to play your game, then hey, you know what? I know the rules. This is the problem we have with we sometimes say we have with our current legislators, is they're not willing to play the cards that they have because they want to play nice. Well, I will tell you all this. If y'all are the ones complaining about that now, don't come at me saying I need to run for the GOP because that's the only way you're going to win. I have learned over the last few elections not to play nice anymore. I tried being Minnesota nice. You know what that got me? That got me Deb Keel for 3 months telling me she hadn't decided if she was going to run for re-election, the whole time coordinating and working with Steve Gander after she told him she was not going to run. And he basically got a 3-month head start because she basically lied to my face. Okay, you guys are what you guys and your Laura Marketels and people like that, y'all need to realize is choices like that you make have consequences further down the line. When I come back and I'm doing a post and I complain, say, you know what, this is what Trump's saying, I don't agree with it. And my counter arguments have nothing to do with Democrats. There are no Democrat policies. They don't even look like Democrat policies. But some of you come back and say, well, you're a Democrat. What did I say as a Democrat? I just disagreed with President Trump on something. But yet y'all call me a Democrat. Some of you come back and say, get out of my party if I'm not going to toe the party line. Well, guess what? Sometimes you get what you ask for. So don't come to me later begging and pleading, saying, please, Travis, please run for the GOP. You're going to screw us over. Well, guess what? Y'all chased me out. Your actions, your lack of actions. Y'all told me, you know what, there's not really a place for you in the GOP. Now, you're going to have your opportunity to convince me. But the way I kind of look at it is kind of like a football player right now. I'm a free agent. I'm going to run my platform. If any of the parties could look at my platform and say, you know what, that platform and our platform, we can live with that, we can have that discussion. I'm not gonna shut anything off. I'm not gonna shut out the Libertarian Party. I'm not gonna shut out the GOP, but I'm gonna run my platform. And if my platform is something that would fit in your platform, and you decide you want to talk to me about running under your party, we can have that discussion. But as of right now, I mean, we're leaning towards running as an independent. And again, we can have these conversations. Again, I'm not going to close any door, but I want everybody to see exactly where I'm at right now. And we're going to, over the next month or two, we're going to start putting together our team. We're going to start talking to donors. We're going to start seeing, hey, what do you believe in this? What do you think we should be doing? There is somebody I'm looking at acting as kind of a chief of staff for my campaign or campaign manager, but he's kind of tied up right now putting on LibertyCon, if you've ever heard of it. We'll get together after LibertyCon, which is after next weekend. And we're going to start looking at putting together this team. Hopefully in the next 30 to 60 days, we'll have an official launch. But it is time that we get government who represents the people, not represents these little side segments of the people. The people look at this dysfunction going on in the legislature right now, and they're hungry for it. I hear it. I talk to people about it. They think it's just such a cluster that all these people believe so much more in their party than they do in governing. And they look for a Jesse Ventura type governor again, who can go in there and be above the fray, who will honor our Constitution, who will honor our state constitution, and honor our state laws, which Tim Walz has shown time and time again he does not really care about. When he called these special elections, he specifically did it to eliminate third parties who he felt would take away from the DFL vote. He broke the law in order to keep the DFL in power. We can't stand for that. And I just don't think a majority of our Republican candidates or stuff like that will get down and dirty when it comes to fighting Tim Walz and these issues. They're going to try to be Minnesota nice. And it's time there's a time for Minnesota nice, but when somebody is out there and abusing the power that the people have given them, it's time to stop being Minnesota nice. So I hope you will consider supporting my campaign. Again, we're just in the exploratory phase right now, so we have not actually set up bank accounts or filed any paperwork. This does allow us the opportunity to raise funds. And if you are interested in donating to our account, please just reach out to me. I will ask you this though, is if you are in Minnesota and you would like to be able to do a PCR, which are political campaign refund, I'm going to ask you, don't donate to me yet, but give me a pledge. Say, Travis, I want to donate X amount of dollars. Let us get everything set up. Let us get it filed. Then you can donate, and you can get your $75 per individual, $150 per couple back from the state for each year. So you have the opportunity to pledge this year and next year, and you're going to get up to $150 a person back from the state. So it's basically going to be a short-term loan. These are going to be what I'm going to need to be able to show that we're competitive. We're going to need to be able to raise money. We're going to need to be able to show, I'm going to need to be able to put $15,000 aside, say, this money is just for our petition drive to make sure we get out there and we get the petitions to get on the ballots. And that's kind of what we're going to be reaching out here. Okay, that's kind of what we're reaching out. We're going to be reaching out for over this next year and a half, so we can be in that position, so that we're holding the cards. But I really appreciate y'all tuning in this morning. I don't want to take a whole lot of your time. I know there's Saturdays are kind of time allow your time to relax. We are going to start redoing a normal Independent is Power web Zoom, or podcast every week, which is going to make me there so I can answer your questions, so we can participate. If y'all are aware of any other podcasts or that y'all would like me to be a part of, please reach out to me and those hosts so we can get this news out, so we can start pushing this. But the ball's in our court. I do want to thank Pat Dennis for our new logo that you see up on the right-hand corner. We do need to make a correction on it. It is Independent is Power, not Independence is Power. But we're going to demonstrate how running and being an independent is power in this next election. Because, again, we are in a completely different situation than when we ran for Congress, where everybody knew the GOP was going to win. They're going to come at us hard. They're going to come at us strong, because both parties are going to see us as a threat to their power. Because this state is so evenly divided, we will be the deciding factor on who wins this election if we don't win it ourselves. 22%, again, people are non-affiliated. 22%. That's not even including the 2 or 3 other percent that's still out there that are members for third parties. That's not including the people who consider themselves, that 36% of the people who are Democrats. How many of those are going to be your blue dog Democrats who are just there because they don't have anywhere else to go? That they don't like what they see either, but they want to see somebody else out there. That's going to be us. But again, hey, I want to appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll keep you in the loop. Again, if anybody's willing to donate or make a pledge, reach out to me. I'll give you it's going to have to be in the form of a check for now. We can collect up to $5,000 before we have to file. Again, I'm hoping to be able to file before that, but I want to finish getting my team together. Again, I'm supposed to meet with talk to Brian Lambert next week, who's going to be helping me put this team together after he's done with LibertyCon, and we'll see where this goes. I do appreciate y'all guys tuning in. I'm looking at some of our comments. Thanks very much. But if there's no further questions, we're going to go ahead and call this thing off. I tried to keep it 20 minutes. I'm right at 20 minutes now. Thank you guys for tuning in. And again, I look forward to any questions or comments. And again, reach out to me. Y'all know where I'm at on Facebook. Bull Johnson for Homestead and Politics. You can reach out to our email, which is bull@raisecattlenottaxes.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. I appreciate it. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye. Hey, by the way, share this. If y'all saw what y'all looked at, y'all liked what y'all saw, share it. Ask other people to look at it. Get the news out. All right. Appreciate y'all. Bye.